Sarah was feverishly opening the last of the birthday presents. There was wrapping paper and bows and ribbons strewn everywhere. And the same was true for all the presents she had already opened. They were scattered all over the place. And anyone who looked on the scene would have been impressed at the haul that Sarah had brought in. That is, everyone except Sarah. And as she pulled the last present out of the last box, she looked around and said, "Is that all?" Her mother gave her a glare that should have frozen her, but she went ahead and said, "Are there any more?" The many uncles and aunts and the grandparents that were all there were a little bothered that she had such little regard for the presents that they had, some of them, taken a great deal of care trying to pick out just the right one for their niece or their granddaughter. And when everybody had left, Mom had a talking with Sarah, and she had to call everyone who had given her presents and apologize for being rude. And that was on top of having to write thank you notes. Sarah was furious. She didn't understand what the big deal was. I mean, everybody got burgers and cake and ice cream, by the way. And it was a birthday party. You have to bring presents when you go to a birthday party. It's just a rule. She didn't understand why her mother was making such a big deal of it, having such a fuss. I mean, after all, they were all her relatives. Sarah was still angry the next morning when she went to school. And her friend Danielle asked her what was the matter. And she explained to her what had happened, how she had gotten in trouble for this nonsensical thing and what her punishment was. Danielle said, "How many presents did you get?" And Sarah said, "I don't know, 10 or 12. Danielle said, "Wow. If that had happened to me, I'd have been running around the room, jumping up and down, kissing everybody and saying thank you." "What do you mean?" said Sarah. "Well, I only got one present for my birthday," Danielle said. "My father lost his job a while back, and he's been picking up work, but it's barely enough to make ends meet. And I don't have any relatives that live nearby. So I was afraid I wouldn't get anything. I was happy with the one that I got." "Oh, I see," said Sarah sheepishly. Have you ever noticed how people talk about seeing when they aren't using their eyes? "Oh, I see," said Sarah, except she didn't see anything. She meant that she understood, that she realized what Danielle was talking about, that she got it. Although I wonder if she really did. I wonder if she really saw, if she really got it. I don't know if you noticed it during the scripture reading, but there's some seeing going on in the scripture passage. Luke tells us that when the lepers come out to Jesus, Luke writes that when he saw them, Jesus said, "Go and show yourself to the priest." When he saw them. I wonder why Luke bothers to say that. Of course he saw them. They ran out to him, yelling, screaming his name, asking to be healed. How could he not have seen them? Why does Luke need to tell us that? And the Samaritan also sees. Luke says how this one leper, when he saw that he was healed, turned back, praising God with a loud voice. When he saw that he was healed. Again, why does Luke need to tell us this? Of course he saw. How could he have not seen? And he can't very well have run back praising God before he saw. And the other 9, surely they saw as well. They saw that they were healed. Why does Luke bother to tell us this? I wonder if Luke is using the term a little more like Sarah does when she says to Danielle, "Oh, I see." I wonder if Luke is talking about a different sort of seeing, about getting it, about understanding. When Jesus saw the 10 lepers, when he realized the plight that they were in, when he understood the way that their illness ostracized them from society, then he said, "Go and show yourself to the priest. Go and be healed." And when the Samaritan saw that he was healed, when he realized what had happened, when he understood the incredible gift that he had been given, then he turned back, praising God, and fell at Jesus' feet. 9 others were healed, but they must not have seen. They must not have realized exactly what had happened, what had been done for them. They must not have gotten it. "Oh, I see," said Sarah to Danielle. Do you think she really did see? That she understood, that she got it? I wonder. I wonder if perhaps she was like the 9 with leprosy, who appreciated getting healed. They surely were excited, but for some reason, they don't come back. For some reason, they're not grateful. You know, it's easy, it's tempting to think that whatever we have, we somehow deserve. And very often, the more people have, the more difficulty they have being grateful for what they do have. The child with a closet full of toys may have trouble being impressed by the gift of one more. It can be difficult to be grateful, to get it, to understand. And perhaps the 9, presumably Jewish lepers, think they deserve their healing. Perhaps they're happy to be healed, but they think God should have done it. After all, they're God's chosen people. And we who grew up in the church, we like to think of ourselves as God's people as well. And perhaps it can be easy to think that God is obligated to care for us. God is supposed to love us and forgive us and take care of us. I mean, after all, we're faithful members. We go to church. We give to the church. We're entitled. And when we start thinking that way, I think Jesus' words to the 9 lepers are now aimed at us. And where are the other 9? Were none of them found to come back and offer thanks, except this foreigner, except this outsider, except this one who had so little that he appreciated the gift? Only the Samaritan in our scripture lesson sees. Only he gets it, realizes what a wonderful thing has been done for him. And he is the last person that the people of Jesus' day would have expected to have gotten it, to have understood. After all, he's a Samaritan. He's from the wrong side of the tracks. He's from the wrong ethnic group, from the wrong religious community. But he understands the wonderful gift that he's been given. And he praises God. And in response, Jesus says, "Go on your way. Your faith has made you well." Or perhaps better translated, your faith has saved you. 10 lepers are healed, made well. But only one is grateful. And only one is said to have faith that saves. How's your faith? How's your spiritual health? If you're feeling in a little bit of a rut with it, or even if you're not, maybe if you're just not sure, or even perhaps if you're thinking your faith is okay, the Samaritan may have a way to help measure things. The test of your faith, or the measure of your faith that the Samaritan offers is, how's your faith? How's your gratitude? How's your faith? How's your gratitude? One writer puts it this way: here's a barometer of spiritual health. If gratitude is not synonymous with faith, neither response to God is separable from the other. Faith, like gratitude, is our response to the grace of God as we have experienced it. For those who have become aware of God's grace, all of life is infused with a sense of gratitude. And each encounter becomes an opportunity to see and to respond in the spirit of the grateful leper. How's your faith? How's your gratitude? Perhaps answering the second question answers the first. Do you show God gratitude? I know of several ways that you can do so. You can offer your worship and praise. You can spend time with God in prayer and in Bible study. Another way is to offer your financial giving to God. And then there's always to do concrete acts that share Christ's love with those who need it. How's your spiritual health? How's your gratitude? When we see all that God has done for us in Jesus, how could we not be grateful? And when we are truly grateful, when we truly show our gratitude to God, we may just discover what it feels like to experience salvation. Thanks be to God.